WCNC Charlotte. This is Flashpoint.
Thanks for joining us here on Flashpoint. I'm Ben Thompson. Today, an exclusive one-on-one interview with one of the president's close advisors. Karine Jean-Pierre has served as President Biden's White House press secretary since May of last year. And now, all eyes are on her as she works to defend the president's record as he gears up for the 2024 election. Then, a little bit later, Charlotte City leaders taking another possible step to bring in commuter rail here to the Queen City, ahead when we could see the Cat's Red Line. But first, joining us now, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. Welcome to Flashpoint. We know time is short, so thanks for coming on and speaking to us. I want to go ahead and get right to it. I know the president said this week he was laying out why his economic plan, dubbed Bidenomics, is the right path forward. I know you agree with him, but do you think Americans agree with him?
So here's what I say. When you think about what Bidenomics is and how the president has talked about it and how he's compared it to what's been done in the past, right? He's talking about Bidenomics, building an economy building an economy that builds the middle class from the bottom up, middle out. And that's really, truly important because what we've seen for the past couple of decades is trickle down economy or economics, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So when you think about what the president has done, when you think about beating Big Pharma, when you think about bipartisan infrastructure legislation that's going to build good paying jobs, really truly go into communities and build that infrastructure. We call it infrastructure decade. The last administration made a joke and kept on saying infrastructure week. We never saw that. The president actually delivered. And so bringing manufacturing jobs back here, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, investing, clean energy investment, all of these things are what Americans care about. Whether it's healthcare, right, saving on drugs, prescription drugs, whether it's energy, saving on utility drugs, or whether it's seeing their community actually be built or rebuilt in a way that is going to be important to that community.
All right, a couple quick questions. Republicans announcing the impeachment inquiry into the president. You've called it a stunt. Why?
Because it is. It's a political stunt. Look, Ben, all you have to do is listen to what House Republicans have said. That's all you have to do. Listen to how they have said there is no evidence that the president did anything wrong, that it does not exist. So it's therefore it is baseless. But look, we're not going to focus on that. What we're going to do is focus on this big, important speech that the president is laid out today. And it is about, again, Bidenomics, middle class. Republicans, what they want to do is they want to cut Medicare, they want to cut Social Security, they want to raise costs on families. That's what they're proposing. That's what they're doing. The president is fighting. You heard him at the State of the Union. You're going to hear him continue to talk about Bidenomics, fighting to make sure that doesn't happen and that we actually deliver for the American families, giving them a little breathing room.
Is the president in the White House, is it ready for a government shutdown in 2 weeks?
Well, here's the thing. Congress has a duty to keep the government open. It is their responsibility to keep the government open, to make sure vital programs that American families need, that Americans need more broadly, have those programs. It is critical and important. We had a deal with Republicans and Democrats. Both sides voted for it. Republicans voted for this as well. A bipartisan negotiated deal that the president signed. So they should just keep their promise. A deal is a deal.
All right, final question, and then we're done. Mitt Romney announcing this past week that he won't be running for re-election, partly because of his age, also because he says it's time to turn things over to the next generation. He also mentioned the president as well as former President Trump. Why is the senator wrong?
Look, the senator is going to make a decision for himself and speak to this on his own as he has. I'm going to let him do that. I'm not going to comment on that. What I can say is we've enjoyed working for the senator on some really key, important issues like the child tax credit, something that the president feels really strongly about. That's why he included in the American Rescue Plan. It brought down poverty amongst children by historic lows. Those are the things that the president wants to focus on. And look, your more broad question, all I have to say is we just had this conversation about all the things that this president has been able to do. No other modern day president has been able to deliver what this president has done. When you think about beating Big Pharma so that Medicare can negotiate, so we can lower costs for Americans, lower costs for our seniors, that's incredibly important. So Bidenomics, we're going to continue to focus on that, focus on what the American people want to talk about. And also, let's not forget, lower costs for the Americans, because we know that they're still feeling it, and that's the focus of this president.
I know you have a train to catch. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, Karine, thanks for coming on. We do appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for the time, Ben.
All right, now we want to verify one of the claims you just heard from the press secretary. She claims the American Rescue Plan brought down poverty rates among children to historic lows. But is that true? Our source is the U.S. Census Bureau. Now, brand new data out this week shows the child poverty rate in 2022 was 12.4%. Now, that is more than double the rate back in 2021. So this claim needs some context to it. While pandemic-era programs helped bring poverty rates down in the president's first year in office, it has since ticked back up. Coming up next on Flashpoint, the new hope for commuter rail in the Queen City.